Well, we got a big problem. It is a beautiful day out on the homestead. We're looking at highs in the mid 80s. We've got overcast skies all day today with chances of rain showers scattered about. It has been unbearably hot, so these clouds are going to lend to us getting some stuff done around here and a little bit more of a comfortable setting, and I'm really excited about that. We spent a little bit of time out of town for Stacy's birthday, and I'm so excited to be back and see how things are progressing back here. Currently, we're headed back to go take a look at our sunflower field to go see how that is progressing. While we were gone, we did have some very rare summer storms and showers, so hopefully they got enough water. We're gonna go take a look right now. Pond number 1 is looking pretty good and full. I guess we had quite a bit of rain down here. We just dropped down into the back field, and if I can see the sunflowers from here, that is a really good sign. Oh yeah, looks like we got a lot going on down here. They're growing in a little more concentrated groups than what I would have liked, but if you recall, our planter wasn't working how it's supposed to. We basically just picked handfuls of seeds and kind of broadcasted them abroad, and you can tell we didn't do the best job of that. I started on this side, Stacy started on that side over there, and we kind of met in the middle. Looks like I was throwing out a little too much here, and then it kind of spaced out and got better back here. It's definitely not perfect, but I didn't have high hopes of this working out at all. This was very much an experimental thing we were trying out. And I do want to mention also that this hasn't been watered in the middle of summer here in probably 2 weeks or so. There's also no telling how many plants we've actually lost to the animals out here, because that's something else I expected to be a problem. That might explain why there's some bare patches throughout the field here, but for the most part, it's doing pretty good. Let's go look on the other side and see how Stacy did with the spreading of her seeds. We have a pretty empty bare spot right there in the middle, but as we move further down, it looks pretty good. Decent spacing, a little bit more of bare spots here, but not too bad. Looks like Stacy was a bit more conservative in the spreading of seeds on her end down here, which isn't a bad thing. Not bad, I'm pretty happy with it. If we decide to do this again next year, we'll continue to plow the ground to keep the grass out of it, and then we'll be able to get some sort of a planter back here for a more even dispersal of the seeds. We're leaving the field to go head back to the pond to go check and make sure that our pump is still good, because it has been sitting out here for the last couple of weeks too. Pump is still here, that's a good sign. After just a little bit of pulling, the pump does work, but we didn't want to run it for long because the intake is out of water. It looks like the pond has come down just a little bit. That would be purely from evaporation, because this pump hasn't been ran in about 2 weeks, and when we were here last, that intake was indeed below the water line. For all of our new viewers that have been asking, we are located in Texas, in Central Texas to be exact. We're taking a little cruise through this, what used to be a pasture back in the day that has been overgrown by mesquite trees. People often ask why we despise the mesquite trees so much, and if you don't know and you have to ask that question, I truly envy you. Mesquite trees are invasive here in Texas, and they grow like weeds, and they have these really long, sometimes like 3 to 4 inch thorns on them. The trees themselves aren't really good for a whole lot, except for maybe firewood, and most of the trees that we have on the property are far too small to be used for firewood. Aside from the nasty spikes that they grow, they also multiply like crazy, and they really choke out all of the native species that we have around here, like the oak and elm trees. In addition to that, another reason that they're so bad is because even if you cut them off at the surface, that doesn't kill out the root system, and then at that point it shoots off a ton of suckers all over the place and makes it really hard to deal with. This is a pretty good example of a mesquite tree that grew naturally from a seed. You can see one centralized trunk that grows up, and then it starts to kind of branch out. That one, as well as this one right here, are good examples of mesquite trees that have grown naturally from a seed. Then we've got this guy right here. This is a good example of what was probably a sapling that grew up from a seed, and somebody cut it down at the bottom, and it just shot off all of these suckers. So I was telling you, it's a pain to deal with because they have all of these low-hanging branches. It makes it hard to get to the bottom of it to actually deal with them with a chainsaw or whatever. Which is why anytime you see us working out in these fields on these mesquite trees, looks like we got attacked by a bobcat. This is a really good example of a mesquite tree sapling that was cut over, ran over flush at the ground with the mower, and it just shot off all of these little guys right here. If left unattended and enough time passes, this will grow into that right there. So it's really easy to see how a property can just be completely taken over with these things in a short amount of time. I'd like to raise a discussion in the comments to see what people have done successfully to deal with these mesquite trees and their own experiences. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can get somebody to come out here with an excavator or a skid steer, and something like that is really expensive. One of the things that we've had luck with is cutting the tree off at the bottom and then spraying the stump with a herbicide. That works really well. Obviously, that's a lot more labor intensive and takes a lot of time. I'm just curious if anybody else out there has found a good, cost-effective way to deal with these stinking things that doesn't break the back or tear the skin. Heading back up the trail, and it looks like we had a tree that was blown over in that storm that happened while we were gone. Pretty sizable standing dead tree that just blew right on over. So we'll head up and go grab the tractor and a chainsaw to deal with this real quick. And we can use our trail. Seeing all these leaves accumulate on the forest floor out here is getting me excited. We are so close to fall and I can feel it, and I cannot express to you how happy that makes me feel. We've made it down here to the bottom with the old tractor. We're going to see if we can snake our way through these trees and actually get up to the tree that we need to buck up. Might be a little difficult since we got the mower hooked up, but we're going to try it. There's the tree. We made it. Still balanced pretty good. We got to be careful not to take too much off of one side and then it kicks up on it. Now we'll reposition the tractor so we can get it picked back up. And now we can work on it from both sides. We've got our logs bucked up and we've pushed them off the trail, and we'll just come through here with a golf cart or a trailer or a pallet on the front of the tractor, pick this stuff up, and that's a pretty decent amount of firewood right there. Still pretty solid too. Well, we got a big problem. As you can tell, there is no birds in here. They're all okay, but they outgrew that little enclosure and we had to throw them in here with the rest of the birds. This was only meant to be temporary, and as you can tell, we have some big birds in here and there's too many of them for this small space. My plans were to have the little pasture fenced in already for these guys, but it hasn't happened yet. So we got to do something about this right now. As soon as it starts getting a little cooler, we're going to get to building the pastures over here. For now, I think the plan is going to be to extend this and make it much bigger. We got a lot more of these panels laying around here, so I think what we're going to do is just kind of tie these to the trees and spread them out and give them a much broader area to hang out in. Obviously, they're still getting all the food and water that they need, but I'd like them to have more room to spread out and go hunt for bugs and do all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna see if we can get some fence panels in here and get them something a lot bigger to forage around in. We're gonna see if we can't get some of these panels onto the tractor, move them closer and start standing them up. We got a hold of a few here. The majority of them are only across one fork, so we can't drive forward, so we're gonna have to reverse all the way to where we want to go, and hopefully they'll stay up there. Uh-oh. What a disaster. We'll just try and get them as close as we can. The least amount of dragging these around by hand we have to do, the better. Should have just hooked up a trailer and put all of these on a trailer. It would have been a lot easier to get them where I needed them to go. Can you let it down slow? Easy. Good deal. We've got some panels here. We've got some panels over there. I have no idea how many we're gonna need exactly. We're just kind of winging it. Aaron's busting apart the pin right here, and then we're gonna go that way. These panels tend to stand up on their own pretty good whenever they're curved a little bit. So I think what we're gonna do is try to use the smallest amount of T-posts that we can and just kind of bend them around the trees and tie them together and snake them through the woods over there and around that way. All right, we've been working at this for like the last 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm not even sure. It was supposed to go a lot faster than that, but it was a little more slow going. This is what we've got going on so far. We've got the chickens in a big yard. We have this fence that kind of goes and snakes in and out of the trees, around the trees. So we haven't had to slam any T-posts yet. There is still a section where we'll have to add 1 or 2. We're almost done. Got to remember to get the tractor and golf cart out of here before we box it in, huh? Before we finish this up and call it a night, I noticed we have a deadfall standing here, and the way that it's rotted out at the bottom, it's gonna fall right where our dang fence is gonna be. So we're gonna go ahead and push it over, maybe. May have to get the tractor for it. Watch out. Oh no. It's gonna land on our fence. Oh shoot. Cool. We don't have to worry about that anymore. We're running out of daylight, so we're gonna finish this up. Huge shout out to Aaron though, because I don't think I would have made it before dark without him. And now we're really close. I think we've got 60 feet to go or so, which is about, I don't know, 3 to 4 panels left to connect, and we're done. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.